Hi, and welcome to our webinar today on Eating for Two. My name is Kristen Horler, and I am joined by my friend and colleague, Heather Hampton. I have a master's degree in nutrition. I've been a fitness professional for over 18 years, focused exclusively on prenatal and postpartum women. So this is something I'm so very passionate about. I get the opportunity to work with a lot of pregnant women, women who are trying to get pregnant, and women who are newly postpartum and even several years postpartum. So Heather and I want to share with you today a little bit about nutrition before, during, and after pregnancy, because this is something that is so important to focus on. We do feel passionate about nutrition throughout the entire life cycle, but we're just going to focus in to provide some little tips as far as before, during, and after pregnancy. So I just want to touch briefly on how to prepare your body before pregnancy. So if you're thinking about having a baby, or if you are getting to a point where you think that in a year from now you might start trying to get pregnant, this is something and a critical time for you to start to prepare your body. And there are a lot of things you can do, such as looking in your medicine cabinet, looking in your bathroom cupboards, and seeing what types of products you're using. So this is more than just nutrition and the food that's going in your mouth, but what type of soaps, cleansers, deodorant, cleaning products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, what types of products are you using and are you exposed to? So I would not say to tear through your house and throw everything in the trash can, but rather start to make very small changes. Probably about 6 years ago, I changed the type of laundry detergent we were using, and I never looked back again. So we're very particular about the type of chemicals that we bring into our home and expose ourselves and our children to as well. And I know that there's always things that we can do to improve our environment. But I always encourage my clients, take things slowly, look at one thing at a time. And if you have any questions about what you can be doing in your home, please make sure to ask us in the comments below this video, and we'll be happy to share our feedback, experience, links, and any research that we have that can help you out. So preparing your body is not just looking at your environment, but it's also looking at the foods that you're consuming. So something that comes up a lot during pregnancy, also before pregnancy, is folate and the need for folate. So one of the things that is so important is that we're consuming enough folate. Now, we hear in the media all the time, and we read everywhere about folic acid. Folic acid is added to this bread, and folic acid is added to the cereal, and you need to take folic acid. Well, there's a big difference between folic acid and folate. So folate is what is naturally occurring. It's actually a B vitamin that naturally occurs in food. And folic acid is the synthetic version of it. So it's an isolated vitamin. Now, Heather and I both feel so strongly about whole food nutrition. And it's something you'll hear us talk about again and again and again, that it is so much better to get your nutrition from a whole food rather than an isolated vitamin. And one of the areas that you can look at to make sure you're consuming enough folate is looking at foods that are high in this essential vitamin. So we want to look at things like spinach. Lentils are also very high in folate. It's naturally occurring in them. Broccoli as well, even avocado. So I went through and I put a list together, and I'll put it in the comments section below, of eating one avocado, eating a half of a cup of broccoli, eating a half of a cup of lentils, and eating a half a cup of broccoli. I think it was 1 cup of lentils. And do you know what the requirements are for folate on a daily basis? It's 400 micrograms, and you far exceed the requirements. You're almost at 500 with eating those foods I just listed off. So I'll make sure I'll put them in the notes for you so you have that ready at hand, so you know to eat these foods at least a couple of times a week. Our body knows what to do when it's food. So if there is concern about overdosing on too much of an isolated vitamin. So you've got to be very careful if you are taking a folic acid supplement that you're not taking too much of that. Whereas you don't really need to count your amount of folate that you're getting in your foods, because your body knows what to do with that. It knows how to absorb it. And if you have, let's just say, 700 micrograms of folate one day and 200 the next, your body's going to be okay. So we always focus more on whole foods. And this is another way that you can prepare your body for your goal of pregnancy in the future, whether it's 6 months away or 18 months away, that you have this goal of working to get pregnant or focusing on that. So more whole foods is something that's very important. And people ask me a lot of the time, what is a whole food? What do you mean by that? Well, an orange is a whole food, whereas pasteurized orange juice is not. That's a processed food. It's been heated to prevent any type of bacteria from forming. A lot of times we'll see that there are added isolated vitamins put into that orange juice to try to make it healthier. But ultimately it's sugar water. And we want to look at actually eating the orange. We want to look at eating an apple versus having apple juice or even applesauce. It's very different if you're making these things at home and they are fresh. But if you're getting them from the grocery store, they're shelf stable, or if they can last in the refrigerator for weeks upon end, then that's usually going to end up being a processed food versus a whole food. And then there's one other thing to really look at before pregnancy is reducing inflammatory foods. So things like dairy, looking for products that maybe have whey added to them or whey proteins. Those are very highly inflammatory foods. And there's a lot more research coming out now about how inflammatory wheat products are as well. So especially things like wheat bread. Heather's going to talk a little bit more on the type of whole grains that we want to get, but looking to reduce inflammatory foods in our diet. And that can even mean sugars, so added sugars. So a lot of what we want you to focus on before pregnancy is reading labels and eating more foods that don't even have a label. So looking at things like bananas and apples and roasted vegetables, and there are so many wonderful, beautiful, colorful choices of foods out there that don't necessarily have a food label and don't have added ingredients that are going to create more inflammation in your system. So I'm going to hand it over to Heather, and she's going to talk just a little bit about during pregnancy as well as after.
Thank you, Kristen. And hi, everybody. My name is Heather Hampton, and I have a passion for nutrition and fitness with a master's degree in exercise physiology and a bachelor's degree in dietetics. It's always been something that I have loved to share with people about, is how to be healthier. And like Kristen said, doing it through food and finding that we can really fuel our bodies and get everything we need if we look at eating a really good plant-based diet that is varied in colors, as well as different types of proteins found in plants as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about during pregnancy and how we are fueling our bodies. We are, first and foremost, listening to our bodies. When you're pregnant, your body's going through a lot of different changes. There's a lot going on. So you want to listen to your body and your cravings, respect the process, and know that some days might be better than others. We have that, pregnant or not, I think. We can all vouch for that. But we want to make sure that maybe we are having strong cravings for sugar or something chocolatey or something salty, chips, whatever your cravings may be. My suggestion to you is don't deprive yourself. Don't limit yourself. Tell yourself that you can't eat those things, but look at having just smaller amounts of those foods that maybe aren't as healthy and aren't going to give you the energy and the nutrients that your body needs at this time. But eating just smaller amounts, having a couple bites of whatever it might be you're craving, and not depriving. When we are fueling, though, we do want to look at eating more fruits and vegetables. It is a theme in this presentation today, is more fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And the reason why is because that is where we want to be getting our nutrients from. Nobody does it better. There's no multivitamin that can ever replicate what Mother Nature does with produce. And we want to be consuming a lot of fruits and vegetables and looking at the color, the variety of color that we're getting. Each color that is out there has different nutrients in it. Oranges, purples, reds, greens. We're going to get a different nutritional value from consuming those different colors in our diet. So make sure we're eating the rainbow. And when we are, like snacking or those late night cravings, maybe trying to grab a healthier snack, some fruits or vegetables. Sometimes, I don't know, I crave just the crunch. And if I grab carrots or an apple instead of chips, I am just as satisfied because I just want that crunch. So think of different fruits or vegetables that you can maybe be snacking on that are easy to grab when you're hungry and can do that really quick. When we talk about whole grains, like Kristen said, we're not talking about whole wheat bread fortified with vitamins and minerals, but we want to focus on good plant-based grains. And that would be things like quinoa, brown rice, oatmeal is a great one. Those are the whole grains that you want to be fueling your body with. And you're getting vitamins and minerals, again, from nature, and your body knows what to do with it. And your body will be able to process that and be able to utilize all those vitamins and nutrients. Then the last thing is hydrate. That's also kind of a theme here too as we go through, is you want to be drinking a lot of water. Your body is digesting, your body is helping to grow this baby, and you need to hydrate a lot just to be able to keep your body, able to not be sluggish and keep moving and do all those processes it needs to be doing. Your blood volume is increased. So hydrate a lot all day long to make sure that you are keeping enough fluids moving through your body. And then we're going to go ahead after pregnancy. So now we talk about rest, recovery, and movement. So we want you to rest. Your body just went through a major stress of having a baby. And you also have to rest and take care of yourself because you have this newborn that now needs around-the-clock care. You need to be able to provide that. You want to take time for your body to recover. Again, this is a stressful event, and your body needs that time to recover from labor and delivery, C-section, or vaginal delivery. Regardless, your body needs that time to recover. But we do want to talk about movement. We don't want to rest and recover by just sitting on the couch all day. And we know that our newborn won't allow that probably anyways. You'll have lots to be busy doing, but we want to talk about safe movement, especially during those first few weeks after pregnancy, by doing some safe movements, light walking around, making sure that we are, giving our body time to recover as well. But the safe movements will help speed up that recovery and make you be able to go back to your normal daily living a little easier and hopefully without any pain or discomfort, because we are adding safe movements in. And when we're talking about breastfeeding, we want to take into consideration that you will have different energy requirements if you are choosing to breastfeed. We'll talk about those on the next slide too, but it is something to consider. We do recommend, not before 6 weeks. So this is something that when you're 6 weeks postpartum, or maybe even a few weeks later, is a good time to do some food journaling. And the reason why is not to focus on how many calories we're getting or, be concerned with that. It's more concerned about, are we eating the rainbow? Are we eating enough fruits and vegetables and whole foods? Are we eating enough colors in that rainbow? And also looking at how much time is going between eating and snacking. So making sure that we're not going more than 4 hours or so without having something to eat, especially if we're breastfeeding. So that would be a good thing to do. Again, we don't recommend that before 6 weeks postpartum. Social support is crucial after having a baby. You need to get out of the house, even though it can be a lot of work to do that, especially during those first few weeks. But social support is awesome and much needed for you and your baby. We just recommend that maybe it's not always donuts and coffee. We want to encourage you to go, meet a friend and go for a stroll outside, pushing your little one in the stroller if the weather is nice, and maybe having a healthy snack afterwards, or grabbing something that is not, again, donuts and coffee, but having that social support, but making those healthy choices around that. Choosing a salad if you do go out to eat for lunch, finding those healthier choices. And again, more whole foods and hydration. We can't stress that enough. after pregnancy, your body is still, especially if you're breastfeeding, your body's still working really hard and recovering too. So making sure that we're eating the whole foods and getting enough hydration. And then just quickly to touch about energy requirements, the calories that are needed during pregnancy. This is additional calories, is about only 250 additional calories when you are pregnant. And when you're breastfeeding, though, it is about 500 additional calories, and this is per day. So you can see that breastfeeding is actually requires more than pregnancy, even though we always talk about eating for two when we're pregnant. And again, that isn't a huge additional requirement either. So making sure that we're choosing our 500 calories to be, again, whole foods, good quality proteins, plant-based proteins is what we recommend, as well as whole grains. So that hopefully helps you have a little better idea of how to make sure that we're fueling our bodies before, during, and after pregnancy. Any questions or comments, just feel free to post below, and we would be happy to answer any of that. Thank you.